Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while again, and I can only apologise. It's been a very slow few months, these last few months, so I do apologise for the lack of videos, but I can promise you that this summer is going to be busy and there's loads coming up very soon. Now, back by popular demand, my Things to Find series, or a new addition to it anyway, and one I've not covered actually on this channel. I'm surprised I've not covered this one, and that is M17, the Swan Nebula. Now, at the time of recording this video, we are in the summer months, so obviously this target is only available really round about late June through to about September. Now, whenever you think of the summer skies, there's one asterism that always instantly springs to mind, and that is the summer triangle. Now, an asterism is just a fancy word really for a shape of stars. Now, don't get them confused with constellations. Constellations are something separate. It's usually stars from certain constellations that cause a certain shape. And the most popular one and the most common one is the summer triangle, which is dominant throughout the skies, and it usually gets right high above as the summer goes on. Now, a quick reminder, or if you're new to astronomy, what the summer triangle is. You want to look for these three stars, and it makes up Vega, which is in Lyra, and then it's Deneb, which is in Cygnus, and Altair, which is in Aquila. Vega is the dominant one, and as the summer goes on, Vega almost becomes pretty much near as directly overhead. So look quite high up for the summer triangle, and it is big. Remember, these things always look a lot smaller on paper or phones these days. So the summer triangle, you know, it's quite a huge thing in the sky. So it's not just a small triangle. You're looking for quite a big triangle, but it's really easy to identify. I'm sure you'll have no trouble with that. Now, before I tell you exactly where to find and observe the Swan Nebula, quick mention to my sponsor, SV Bony. Now, please don't fast forward because you're obviously into astronomy. That's why you're watching this channel. And SV Bony are all things astronomical. Now, I've been using SV products way before my YouTube channel, so they've certainly got my seal of approval. So if you are in the market or look out for a new telescope, maybe a mount, a new eyepiece, whatever it may be, I would advise you to have a look in the links below, because the great thing about SV Bony, they do fantastic quality at such unbeatable prices. They really are running away with the market at the minute. So have a look at those links in the description below. Not only you'll be doing yourselves a favour, you'll definitely be doing me a little favour, because I do get a small percentage of any sales done in those links below. Now, to find the Swan Nebula, we're going to use the summer triangle as a starting point, and this is why it's always a good idea to know about these asterisms, because they always are signposts, not just asterisms, constellations in rule, signposts to point us on to more interesting things in the sky. So if you look at the summer triangle, what you want to do is find the bottom right-hand star, Altair in Aquila. Now, if you follow the line of, down the body of the eagle, if you like, of Aquila, and you go follow those three stars, you'll see that the bottom star points to a slightly bright star. When you're looking for these things, it will always be the first star that usually comes to. It's usually the brightest one amongst them. And this star is in a little constellation called Scutum. It's like a little line of three stars, or should I say, it's these top three stars of Scutum are the ones that's going to guide us on to the Swan Nebula. There is more stars in Scutum, but these are the ones we're going to concentrate on at the moment. Now, if you look, Altair kind of points to the bottom star of the three. I think there's actually four stars in Scutum, but it's those top three we're looking at, and it's the bottom star you want to be concentrating on, or should I say the bottom star of those three in Scutum. Now, that bottom corner of Scutum is really a pointing star. You've identified that by following from Aquila all the way down, because Scutum's not a really bright constellation. But doing this process that I've just told you, you'll just find it a lot easier this way. And that bottom star is what you want to find, like I say. And then just a little bit to the right of that is where you're going to find the Swan Nebula. Now, M17, or the Swan Nebula, what I love about this one, there is a little pattern in there, what gives it its name, that actually does resemble, for a change, what it's supposed to do. Because if you look at this image here, this is a telescopic image of the Swan Nebula. You can see that there's a faint white smudge in the middle of the nebula, and if you look, it actually looks like a little swan, like a side on of a swan. Others refer to it as the like a tick mark or a check mark, and I've even heard it referred to as the Nike logo. Now, M17, the Swan Nebula, is around about 5,500 light years away. That means if you were traveling at the speed of light in some kind of special spacecraft, traveling at the speed of light, it would still take you 5,500 years to actually reach the Swan Nebula. So you can see it's a fair old distance. And it's a great big gas cloud, really, made up of hydrogen and helium. And it's roughly around about 40 light years across. I mean, it's a huge, great nebula, this one. Now, when it comes to what equipment to use to view this nebula, admittedly, this is not a very bright one. So you're going to need a telescope of some size. Now, this is a 4-inch refracting type telescope here, and I can just about see it with a 4-inch refractor. Anything smaller than maybe a 4-inch refractor, or maybe say a 4-inch reflector, to get the actual detail of the tick or the swan that we've been talking about, you really are going to need to take it to darker skies. And that doesn't mean like your local park. I mean way away from any towns and cities. Now, if you've never done this, I strongly recommend, advise, plead with you to do this, even if it's just once. What you ever do it once, because it's the most amazing thing you will ever do with a telescope. I've always said, when you take your telescope to dark locations, it's like adding 2 inches of aperture to any telescope. And of course, any telescope above 114 millimeters, you're going to have no problem with seeing the Swan Nebula and seeing the detail. But like I say, it all depends on what telescopes you've got, what your sky bottle is. But if the conditions are right, you will get to see that little smudge, or the tick, if you like. Now, don't worry if you can't see it, if it's just like a little bit of a hazy patch and you can't quite make out that tick. Don't worry about it, because a good percentage of you, that's all you'll see. But don't be disappointed, because visual astronomy is not about what the photographs show you. Remember, they're photographs. It's not that ain't actually there. They're just long processes. And just appreciate what you're actually looking at through a telescope. You know, if it's just a little fizzy patch that you're actually seeing, at least you found it. That's a great an achievement. It shows you there's nothing wrong with your telescope. You know, you're seeing something 4,500 light years away. So I'd just class that as one to tick off, that you've actually seen it, found it, been there, done it, got the t-shirt, if you like. Now, whenever you're hunting for deep sky targets, it's always recommended to use low power, especially with M17, because it isn't the brightest of nebulas. And remember, beginners, telescopes are not all about magnification. In fact, that's the opposite to what a telescope does. It's the eyepiece. Some beginners like to call them the lens. The correct term is an eyepiece, okay? The eyepiece is what magnifies the image. A telescope's job is to collect light. So high-powered eyepieces, what they do is they're going to cut a lot of the light down. It's going to narrow the field of view. So always use a low-powered eyepiece, which is going to give you a wider field of view, more area, letting more light come into the telescope, giving you a better chance to get to see this Swan Nebula. Well, best of luck finding this one. I do recommend you go out and have a look for it. And just follow the steps. Like I've told, start with the summer triangle, find Altair in Aquila, and follow that line through. It'll give you a good guidance of where to actually point your telescope. Well, that's it for another video, folks. Thank you so much for watching. If you have watched this far, thank you for being patient and understanding that I have been a bit slow, but I will make it up to you, I promise, this summer. A lot to come. Don't forget, follow the links in the description for some awesome deals. And until the next time, folks, I will see you all very, very soon. Bye for now.